Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Thank you for joining me today. I want to focus on a practice and mentality that I have been incorporating over the last handful of months. And I've really been experimenting with it for a while. And I'm excited to share it with you. I've worked on this and shared it intimately with my clients one to one. And I've seen all sorts of shifts and changes for them and for me personally in my energy field. And it's really simple, but it's had profound effects. And it's the concept of metabolizing energy rather than digesting or absorbing it. And of course, this goes back to the importance of our energy field, our aura, our energetic boundaries. I've done numerous podcasts where I focus on our energy field, our aura, strengthening energetic boundaries, and we'll put some of those past resources down in the show notes, the podcast description, so you can refer to them and do a little bit of a refresher. But of course, we have this energy field around us, and it is always engaging with our environment, and it's unseen, it's intangible. And that's what sometimes makes it forgettable or elusive or not relevant in our day to day life because we are living in this human plane that is literal and tangible, things we can touch, taste, feel, but we don't always notice our energy field. And our energy field is what helps us intuitively with our intuition and all of our psychic gifts and abilities, clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience. The energy field and the strength of that field, as well as the clarity of it, is what helps fine tune not only your frequency, but your antenna for clearly receiving and communicating. And for the longest time, when it came to processing emotions, thoughts, healing, and evolving for me, it was always under the concept or guise of processing and digesting. Digestion was really my go to word. Let me digest this experience. Let me digest this emotion. Let me really process it fully in order to understand it, to move it through my body, to even alchemize it. I always approached it from a point of digestion. And I think the reason for that is for me, it related to the solar plexus, our energy center that is our light, our internal light, our mighty I am presence. And of course, the solar plexus is connected with our digestion. But when I think about digestion, digestion is a process. I'm going to be so gross for a second, but literal, like think about your colon. It's a long organ in your body. And when you're digesting food, it takes a while for it to move through your body. And it's dense matter moving through, processing out. And that's in my mind's eye or in my thought process or conceptualization of processing energy, clearing energy, processing and digesting life and emotions, and sometimes not processing or digesting life and emotions, shoving them down, pushing them down, and then them coming out sideways later on. The concept of digestion to me was really palpable because it's like, okay, if I'm going to process this grief or this heavy experience I've had in this friendship, I've really got to digest it. I've got to work at it. And if hopefully you can hear the intonation in my voice as I conceptualize it personally and articulate it to you, it's like it's work to digest and process the emotions. I have to work at it. I have to really understand and know and work out all the kinks and move it through so I can grow. And gosh, it's kind of exhaustive, right? Even me explaining it sounds heavy and exhaustive. A while back, as I was meditating and connecting and this information was flooding through, I realized, why am I making it so laborious and labor intensive to grow, to shift, to alchemize, to transmute and heal energetically, mentally, emotionally, physically, and physiologically? Why don't I just metabolize? And that word came to me in meditation, and as I was, and I don't remember exactly what I was navigating at the time, but actually I do. Now it's coming back to me. I was dealing with something in a relationship that had really hurt my feelings and caught me off guard. And I really felt sideswiped, kind of like betrayed a bit, and then everything came up as a result. I got angry, I got kind of indignant and self-righteous. I went into this rationalization. I could feel all my shadow aspects and defensive coping mechanisms flare, and it was like, okay, we got to really do some work around this. What is my role? I got to clean my side of the street. I started looking at myself. Amanda, if you have attracted this karmic lesson or this scenario, what are you learning from this? What is this teaching you? What are you shedding? What are you digesting? What do you need to heal? And that's how I started to approach it. And my energy field kept hanging on to it, if that makes sense. So I kept feeling resentment. I kept having feelings around it. I'd be driving and boom, it would distract me. And then I'd start analyzing in my mind and being preoccupied. And I was using all of my tools, so to speak. I asked for spiritual help and guidance. I did personal inventory around it, but it just kept coming up in my field. And something in that scenario, first of all, told me just to cease fighting. Like, just stop analyzing, stop psychoanalyzing, stop getting into the depths of your own psychology and your side of the street. And it wasn't about bypassing, and it wasn't about just let it go. I mean, I tried to just let it go, but kept getting louder in my field. And I knew for me it was deeper work, but the deeper I dug into the work, and this was what was different, because I've dug deep and I will look at my side of the street and know where I need to do some work to heal or to clean out or to forgive or love more, whatever it may be. But the deeper I dug, it felt like a Chinese finger trap. It was like the more a vice, right? The more I pulled, the tighter the vice got. So it was like the harder I worked or tried, and I don't like that word, but that's what I was doing, trying to heal, the harder it got. And it felt like I couldn't digest it. And as I was meditating and I was driving, and you all know me, driving is one of those places where I get these wild downloads, and it's my spiritual time where I meditate and breathe and work on my nervous system and do that kind of practice. All of a sudden, it said, quit trying to digest this, just metabolize it. And the word metabolism came through, and I thought that was so curious. And I said, oh gosh, soul, higher self, tell me more. What does this mean? And I looked up before I got on our podcast today the definition of metabolize. And this is one definition, but to use chemical processes in the body to turn food into energy, new growth, and waste products. So just think about that. Let me repeat it. To use chemical processes in the body to turn food into energy, new growth, and waste products. That word in and of itself, I can get on board with that. Taking something that we are shifting or healing or wrestling with and turn it into energy, new growth, and eliminate the waste products. And when I think about metabolizing versus digestion, and this is my own perception of it, digestion takes time and work, and it's like a grind. But when I think of metabolizing, there's something liquid to it where cells just turn matter into energy. And that's exactly what the definition is. It's like the cells turn the dense heaviness, the toxins, the debris, the fat, the food, the carbs, if you want to think about it that way, into energy. But this definition of metabolize, what I love about it is it's not just energy, it turns that debris and that heaviness into new growth. And it also eliminates the waste product. So that word in and of itself is helpful for me. But when I started using the word metabolize this, Amanda, instead of taking this on, this pain, this fear, this doubt, this frustration, metabolize it. And I would say it to my soul, hey mind, hey body, hey spirit, metabolize this feeling, this pain, this situation in the highest light for the highest good of all. And I just would start saying, I am metabolizing this. This is moving through me at a warp speed, lightning pace. And I started doing that regularly and supplanting the word metabolize for processing or digesting, or deep diving. And I would catch myself saying, gosh, I just need to process this right now. And then I would stop myself and say, no, you need to metabolize this right now. And so I supplanted that word months ago, and it's been very curious in terms of what has transpired in my life that around that concept energetically. One, things are happening at a very fast pace and a sustainably fast pace. And when I say fast, I don't mean life is happening so fast. It's more like when I encounter resistance or a challenge and I notice it and I'm aware and I ask for it to metabolize through my field in the highest light for the highest good of all. And then I move through things. There's a resiliency that's created. There's a lightning effect that happens. My body is starting to heal and regenerate. My mind and my emotions are as well. The other thing is with my energy field, which I am quite aware of. I've really been aware of my energetic boundaries for a very long time. And energetic boundaries, they're so fluid. They need continual love, dedication, and renewal and care, just like we take showers. Just like we take showers, our energy field needs cleansing and clearing and fortifying. And I have many practices I've shared about that over the years through grounding, clearing your auric field. We can use those things. I do use those things, but by metabolizing emotions and thoughts and physical things in my body, I'm starting to absorb less energy from other people. And my point of attraction, my presence, my own frequency is starting to get stronger and stronger. And I can feel it. And the people, experiences, opportunities, pathways that are opening and have been opening in my life as of late are as if by magic and faster. And they are taking on very unique qualities that feel so synchronistic, so divinely aligned. And let me also share this. Life hasn't been easy the last handful of months. It's not like I said, let's start metabolizing and everything is amazing. No, like life has been major. I've made a lot of really big, major life changes and leaps of faith in the last handful of months that, from a logistical standpoint, from a courage standpoint, from a grieving and clearing standpoint, have been hard and heavy and also empowering in a multitude of ways. But the strength of my energy field and my body recognizing that my body knows exactly what to do when I ask it to metabolize is creating greater vitality. It is minimizing disharmony and discord, and it is also beginning to minimize depletion. That's the funny thing that also for me, I've noticed is my vitality and my life force and energy levels have significantly gone up. and I've been doing more. It's not like I've been eliminating from my plate. I've had quite a bit on my plate, but I've had more energy. So rather than my energy field feeling depleted, it actually is feeling renewed. And my auric field, it's like our auric field is this intelligent processor. And sometimes it processes, sometimes it catches energy and energy gets stuck in our auric field. But when I ask my mind, my body, and my spirit to cooperate and metabolize experiences, emotions, and interactions, it's almost like it becomes not only resilient, it becomes self-nurturing, self-sustaining, symbiotic in my life, and I'm seeing an uptick in my clarity, my energy, even things like the quality of my input and output and efficiency. And what it's also creating, and this is sounds may sound paradoxical, is it's like I'm doing more but I'm doing less. And what I mean by that is there's more value, more quality, more engagement, more enrichment, and I'm doing less and slowing down at a different pace. So it's almost like my energetic microbial field is starting to adapt and strengthen. So I encourage you to think about absorbing energy, absorbing other people's energy, and all of the ways we engage and interact and take on other people's stuff, and then have very little time for the clarity of our own energy field. But think about replacing your spiritual process or approach with metabolizing what is in front of you and trusting that it is feeding you. But like I said, notice, and you can't just do this one time and it's going to be like, it's going to work. It's imperative to practice. I've been practicing this for months and haven't stopped, but now it's a go-to practice because I'm finding it effective and it's cleared heaviness and fog. I'm less drained after certain interactions. And that's been noticeable because I'm taking on less from other people and standing in my own energy field. It's also been healthy from an energetic boundary standpoint, whereas I recognize I am not responsible for processing, digesting, or metabolizing other people's stuff. I am only responsible for and capable of metabolizing my stuff and then getting to show up and engage. And that's really helped from a boundary standpoint. And let me give you an example of where I was really off kilter for a bit. When Dennis and I were moving, and this was about a month or so ago, from the United States to South America, in that week leading up to and during our move, it was exhausting, right? I mean, we were literally clearing everything out of the house, getting it cleaned, locking the door, signing the paperwork on the house to the new owners, doing closing, getting Dennis on a plane. Then our dogs had to go to Colorado, and then I had to get on a plane, and then I mean, it was, nonstop. So my routines were completely off. I was exhausted. I was running on empty and adrenaline because it just is the nature of moving, right? And this was a big, big move for us and in my life. But I remember the couple of days leading up to me getting Dennis to the airport. He went to the airport and flew down to South America a couple of days before I did. By like everything logistically for me denoted that I should be utterly wiped out, exhausted. I hadn't been sleeping well. We had done so much in like a 6 or 7 period, like day period of time, that I knew I would should be physically just empty and exhausted. And I remember saying to my friend, I know I should feel exhausted, like everything tells me I should, but I'm not exhausted. I cannot feel my exhaustion. And some of that, of course, like I said, was adrenaline. But and just getting through, right? We summon these forces we don't have. And it was like I didn't have space to be exhausted. But even when I was sitting still in the evening, I still couldn't feel exhausted. So I dropped Dennis off at the airport on a Wednesday morning, and I get him dropped off to the airport, and I'm driving, I'm having to drive across Austin back to Wimberley, and, with traffic and all the things, it was probably an hour and a 15-minute drive or something. And about 30 minutes into the drive after giving Dennis away, meaning giving him to the airport, giving him to South America, and me having just like a little bit of time to be in the car by myself and exhale. About 30 minutes into the drive, I was driving, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, I'm exhausted. Like, I was driving and I felt like I was about to fall asleep at the wheel in Austin traffic. I was okay. Don't worry. I was very alert and aware. But all of a sudden I was like, whoa, I'm so tired. And I felt that I just felt the exhaustion that I knew had been there in my body that I couldn't feel because like I said, I thought it was just running on adrenaline. But what came through in the moment so clearly was, oh my gosh, I just dropped Dennis off. And after about 30 minutes of quiet and alone time, now I'm actually in my own body, not commingled with anybody else's energy field. Oh my gosh, I can actually feel what Amanda needs to feel because I'm running on the fumes of everybody else's energy and adrenaline. And it was so distracting. I couldn't just feel my energy, and it was so visceral that it put a smile on my face because it was this, like, neon light reminder of how our energy fields are so commingled with other people's. Definitely, if you're married and you have a partner, you're in the same household all the times and you're intermixing energy. If you sleep in the same bed, whether you're touching or not, your energy fields are mixing. We have coworkers that we engage with, whether we're in person with them or it's virtually. We have children and family members, and we're at the grocery store with people. I mean, we are engaging, again, whether it is in person or virtual, all the time with people. And this is something I know and I'm aware of and I've sensed, but over the past few months, I'm realizing the importance of my energy field and my energetic boundaries and practices. But what I've also noticed is when I metabolize energy and when I do it regularly, even when I am with other people, and I don't mean I stop in the middle of a conversation, say, excuse me, I need to metabolize my own energy, or let me set an energetic boundary. But it is about, even when I am communicating and exchanging with people, saying, I am in my light, my presence, I am sharing my light, I am incorporating theirs, but I am only responsible for my presence, my energy. Help me metabolize anything through my field that is not mine, or help me metabolize what is mine. So just play with this in your own way. See how you can incorporate metabolizing your energy, and just even simply the thought of metabolizing energy and emotions and experiences versus digesting them. And like I said in that definition of metabolizing, when you're metabolizing, you're turning whatever you're quote unquote processing into more energy, to new growth, and you're eliminating the waste fast. So it's a form of alchemy, but for me, it's a really tangible, I guess you could say tangible. It's not really tangible, but it's a visceral way of me processing at a higher frequency. And we are in this collective shift in humanity where we are moving from codependent energetic dynamics into sovereign energetic metabolism. And that is probably the biggest theme that I am wanting to share with you and impress upon you, is that humanity has really fed off of this codependent energetic system and dynamics for so long. And if we are working to reclaim our sovereignty, our divinity, it's also through the way that we metabolize energy. And this is not bypassing, it is truly honoring the gift of exchanging energy, transmuting it, and sending it back to the field cleansed, but without the heaviness. And this is also helping us, it's helped me to incorporate in more light into my body with less burnout, less exhaustion, less overwhelm. And when that fear comes up, or worry or doubt, or old coping mechanisms, or coping mechanisms in general, whatever it may be, I've started using the word, "Oh, I'm afraid of this right now. Let me metabolize it." And it's like, let me metabolize that right now. And it's alchemy, but it is also this quick way of not processing, but really leveling up the energy, creating more energy and vitality and new growth, and eliminating the waste simultaneously. So remember, your energy field is wise. Your energy field is always active, receptive, and incredible. But our role in it, your role in it, my role in it, is to become aware of it and to also apply new ways of conceptualizing your energy field. Because what this will do, and I promise you, and I mean, I guess promise is a big thing for me to say, but if over the course of the next month, if you say, okay, for 3 or 4 weeks, every day, I'm going to find ways to incorporate the idea of and the energetic exchange of metabolizing in my life, whether it's experiences, emotions, old thought processes and patterns, relationships, I'm going to metabolize and release what doesn't belong and trust the intelligence of my body and do that intentionally over and over. What will happen is new opportunities will start magnetizing in your energy field, your truth, your clarity, your trajectory forward will start becoming more definitive for you, more aligned. The people, places, and experiences you need to support that journey will start coming into your life, and you will intuitively know how to communicate with them or integrate your experiences with them. It is going to level your game up like you can't believe. And a great place to start with this is just tomorrow or this afternoon in your the next interaction you have with someone. Ask yourself, am I absorbing their like, what am I doing right now in this in exchange? Am I absorbing their energy? Am I having to really digest what they're telling me and hold space? Or am I just metabolizing it? It's self-sustaining and it's reciprocal. Meaning, when I say sometimes digesting and the way that I'm processing this or communicating it right now, what I mean is, you know how we have people in our life that we love, but they're a lot. Like every time we talk to them, we're like, okay, I gotta ground in. Okay, I've got an hour. Okay, when I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be present for them, but I'm just gonna have to hold space for them because I don't know how to shut them down or turn them off, or I want to be there for them, but it's all I can do. And so it's like you are just having to digest their energy. That might be an example of that. Um, me with Dennis and what I gave you, I feel like I wasn't digesting his energy. I was absorbing his energy because he was on go and do and running on empty too. And and I knew that I had been sleeping 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours a night erratically. And I love my sleep, but I was absorbing his adrenaline and his frenetic energy because he was a little bit frenetic during that time. And God loving me, he was like amazing as well, but I was absorbing his frenetic energy and I couldn't feel my exhaustion, even though I knew logically I was exhausted. So I was absorbing in that instance. And the other night when I went to dinner and we were having it with some of my new friends and we were having a good time and exchanging energy, it felt like metabolizing. It felt synergistic. It felt like no one was feeding off of each other. It was more like metabolizing and riffing, and new vitality was being created. New growth was being created, and waste was just eliminating through the conversation. So, so maybe for the next few days, say, is this an interaction where I think I'm digesting, absorbing, or metabolizing? define that for yourself to start so you can delineate the difference. And then you can start putting the metabolizing practice into play. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear if this resonates with you and how this makes sense to you and what I'm sharing and noticing the difference and what your own experience is energetically as of late, as of the last few months with energetic boundaries, absorbing others people's energy, recognizing your own energy field. Anything around this that you have to share or insight, I would love to hear from you. So please email me at podcast@soulsessions.me. I'm just very curious to hear what experiences you all are having. And also, on another note, as it relates to last week's podcast, and last week was the podcast where I talked about Pluto stationing direct and really regaining our personal investment in life and our passion and our umph, even in times of heaviness. I wanna know what makes you passionate right now, like, really what personally, spiritually lights your fire. So I'm asking for feedback on 2 things. 1, I wanna know what you really stand for, what makes you passionate right now, what you really believe in, and what, like, fuels you even in the heaviest of times. And the other thing, if that's not coming up for you that I'd love to hear about is metabolizing energy and energetic boundaries and the difference that you see in metabolizing energy versus digesting energy. So I know I'm asking for a little bit of feedback there on 2 different topics, but I want to hear from you because I want to know how this is sitting with you and how it's playing out in your life or what is working for you. And or maybe what isn't working for you. Throw out some questions if you have them. I'd love to share these with everybody and share some information so we can get a dialogue going around this because I think it's going to be quite important in the months ahead. Energetic boundaries and then also deeply connecting with our meaning and our purpose and what tethers us to our soul's evolutionary path going forward. All right, everyone, be well. I'm pretty sure that this is airing on October 8th, this episode, and that's my birthday. So happy birthday to me. It is my birthday. I'm officially 45 when this airs. Well, hey, listen, while I'm recording this, I'm 44, but as this airs, I'll be 45. So happy birthday to me. And here's to another big trip around the sun. And thank you so much for showing up, sharing your light. I feel you. I'm grateful for you. And it's such a privilege to be able to share our energy, our frequency, and our big evolutionary growth in these extraordinary, unprecedented times we're in. Be well, everyone.